Hi everyone, this is Chopra from Ethnology. Welcome to an episode of Decoding Art. Today, I wanted to look at this piece of art from the reign of the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. And I wanted to examine it for all of you because not only does it interest me from the point of view of somebody who can appreciate aesthetics, but also because in this singular piece of art, there are so many symbols that can reveal to us the various social, political, and cultural trends that existed during the reign of Jahangir. And that is why I think this piece or art in total becomes important. So let's examine and see what this painting called the Darbar of Jahangir, painted perhaps around 1620 to 24 CE, repainted in 1628, attributed to the court artists Manohar and Abul Hasn. Let's see what this piece of art has for us. So the first thing that you can notice is that this is of course a scene of Jahangir at court. It is a wealthy scene because you can see a number of people here who are adorned in fancy clothes. The jewelry is shining. You can see actually some people are wearing this white sort of an earpiece that shines through, and you have expensive necklaces being worn, and there are a number of people. And the really interesting thing is that each person has a distinct facial characteristic. Everyone, you see different shades, different skin tones, different clothes, and different designs on them. There is not even an instance of laziness from the end of the artist in depicting these people with their uniqueness and translating that so well in a painting. So that is why aesthetically I think this piece becomes so interesting. But now let's talk about the hidden gems here and what we can find out about the Mughal court and the times of Jahangir from this particular painting or this particular phase in question. So the first thing is, if you observe on the image of Jahangir, if you maximize it, you will notice that he's sitting and behind him there is this circular thing and it's radiating. So that of course is a halo. And right above that, right above Jahangir's head, is this image of Virgin Mary. And you can see next to her there are these winged creatures. So this is of course an import from European Christian imagery that had started to come to the reign of Akbar when the Jesuits arrived, and they brought with them paintings. A lot of these paintings were also from the Renaissance, and they would include Christian imagery. And these idioms, these European idioms, they were appropriated and used to convey Jahangir's message. So we see this idea of monarchy, of kingship being linked with this sort of religious power, with a sort of divine right. And this goes back to Akbar's reign, because Akbar had started this idea of coming off as a murshid, a spiritual guide for his people. And you see that he also took that sort of legitimacy from the Farizadi, the divine light. And you see then in the reign of Jahangir too that he uses some of these ideas. He too goes ahead to blend this spirituality with monarchy, religion with monarchy. And in this case, the religion is not even a faith that he personally practices. And yet he uses this idiom, and you see the halo being incorporated, Virgin Mary being incorporated, and other Christian European elements that come into this painting and are subtly placed there but have a lot of charged meanings. So indeed there is a use of European imagery which has been subtly added in this particular work. But at the same time, if you notice, and you don't even need to notice carefully because this person will definitely catch your attention. So in this large crowd of so many people standing so close to each other, maskless, the person that catches your attention is the one who is dressed the most blandly. You would see this person who's not adorned in any sort of jewelry. There is no shining earpiece. There is no design on his clothing, and his color of the cloth that he also wears and the headpiece that he wears is also black, and the skin tone is also lighter in comparison to the other people present at the court. And if you can see on his collar, on his white collar, there is this inscription in black which reads Shabi-e Padri. And there is no name given to this person. He is, however, identified by scholars as the Florentine priest Francesco Corsi, who was active at the Darbar during this time, which sort of conveys to us that, all right, there were these people who were available at the court even during Jahangir's reign. And this practice, as I've already said, goes back to the period of Akbar. And the question of inscriptions also makes you notice that a lot of people in this particular painting have inscriptions. Some have it on their collars, some have it on their hat. So you would see right beneath the emperor is this figure, and he has been identified as Shabi-e Mahabbat Khan, and that is naming one of the highest ranking officers at the court during this particular time. So the use of inscriptions to identify these characters, and also adding these inscriptions so subtly that they blend with the art, that they do not ruin the aesthetics, is a very interesting artistic choice and is also very fascinating and of course helpful to art historians today. So thank you for that. The last thing that I want you all to focus on is the blue carpet that has also made its way into the painting. And what's so interesting is that there are so many people here, right? So you can't see the entire carpet. And the artist could have easily placed a few more people to cover the carpet. However, the carpet has been included, which sort of conveys that the need of it there in that painting was crucial. So what you'll notice is, I'll begin with an anecdote actually. When Thomas Roe, the ambassador, the first English ambassador at the Mughal court, wanted to buy Persian style Indian carpets from Ajmer, and he asked the shopkeepers to, make some available for him, they all denied, and they said we cannot, because all were spoken for by the emperor. The emperor at that time, the Mughal emperor, needed those. So carpets were indeed very important to the to add to the sort of grandeur and aesthetics of the court. And what you especially should notice is the imagery on it. So these are the flowers underfoot, which is also the name of a Metropolitan Museum of Art book dedicated to the carpets that were made during the rule of the Mughals. So you can see that there is a depiction of flora on this beautiful blue color, and that is present underneath. And Ebba points out that Jahangir was very much interested in naturalistic depictions, in depictions of flora and fauna, and you see this increasing during his time. Shah Jahan goes on to continue this practice of including a lot of flora and fauna in not only paintings but also architectural elements. And again, there might have been some influence from the European end, because you see that a lot of flora and fauna depictions that were occurring under Jahangir were similar to the sort of naturalistic paintings of Florence and those that were popular in the 15th and 16th centuries in Europe. So that again is very interesting. So I hope all of you enjoyed this episode of Decoding Art and were able to understand how art can not only exist in isolation, how art is not only restricted to it being a thing of aesthetics, how it also transcends those boundaries and is a lot of times a window which sort of allows us to see the various symbols and subtle imagery that reveal to us the political, social, cultural, religious trends of the period in question. So once again, I hope you enjoyed, and if you have an art piece that you want us to examine, then leave a comment below and I'll make sure that we get to that next. Thank you.